Hope I never have to use it. That's something. Never trust a tourist advertisement. Never trust a tourist advertisement.
Now get out! Now get out! Now get out! Now get out!
At last, Mr. Charles Reed. What a pleasure to finally meet you in the flesh.
Nice to meet you.
Johannes van der Berg, at your service. I did promise to meet you the moment you arrived.
Ah, much obliged, Mr. Vanderberg. I guess I didn't expect you to mean so literally.
Please call me Johannes. But where are my manners? Welcome to the proud city of Oakmont. Alas, now is not its finest hour, though it is its most important.
Reaching Oakmont was no easy task. Most maps I found didn't mark it, and this rickety packet ship is the only one that sailed here. Why is that?
Oakmont is no ordinary place. Its unique geographical position and the flood, a recent natural disaster, make it nigh impossible to reach. But you made it, Mr. Reed. I'm sure the tides of fate would have brought you here one way or another.
Tell me about this flood.
It began 6 months ago. Storms raged for several weeks, and the water has risen ever higher without receding. Now the city is cut off from the mainland. I must say I rather like it, despite the inconvenience. Atmosphere, you know?
That's an eye-catching suit.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. A mere flood is no excuse for one to abandon one's style.
I take it you're a big fan of yellow.
Well, I have a particular weakness for it. Call it a personal quirk.
You said you know someone who can help me with my problem. The visions have been getting worse.
Such vividness of dreams is not uncommon here in Oakmont. By chance, the man I spoke of, Robert Throgmorton, is already at the port. He has dedicated a lot of time and effort to investigate this issue. Alas, I fear he has a more pressing matter on his hands.
How can I find Mr. Throgmorton?
Don't worry, you can't miss him. Throgmorton tends to stand out from the crowd.
I'll need a place to lay my head while I'm here. Any recommendations?
Fear not. I've already feathered a nest for you. There's a room in your name at the Devil's Reef Hotel. Here's the key.
Sounds charming.
Don't judge a book by its cover, Mr. Reed.
What's the best way to get around Oakmont? I'd like to drop my things at the hotel.
Most locals go by foot, or by boat. I've got the latter sorted for you. There's one waiting outside the port.
You're too kind, Johannes. Can you steer me towards the Devil's Reef?
Take this map. I've marked the hotel and a few other key places.
What are places?
You're a private eye, yes? Well, I've highlighted the... This city is insular. Its ways mysterious.
How do you fill your day?
I host a philosophy club.
So,
There is no consciousness without pain, Mr.
well,
No.
oh, before you go.
Don't worry about that. We'll meet again, Mr. Reed.
I don't care about your petty excuses. No one leaves the port until my son is found, and that is final.
Excuse me. Are you Robert Throgmorton?
I am, but not interested. Go away.
The name's Charles Reed. I'm a private investigator, just arrived from Boston. I was told you might be able to help me.
Private investigator, you say?
If I may ask, what happened to your son?
Why do you care?
Well, like I said, I'm a PI.
Is it? Well, Albert was part of a deep-sea expedition I commissioned. This says he was barely conscious, out of his mind.
And you don't believe it?
Complete malarkey. I know my Albert. Albert's disappearance is the work of Innsmouthers, Mark...
I've heard you're the man to speak to about visions.
Another newcomer with another problem.
Can I ask you a few questions?
How dare you? My son Albert is missing.
I take it you're not the biggest...
Those fish-faced freaks have overrun this city since the police, but now, those filthy migrants occupy half this damn city.
So they're just...
Hardly. They've taken work from the local not to mention that...
Mr. Throgmorton, let me help you.
What makes you think you can do it?
Let's just say I tend to see things that others miss. And anyway, what have you got to live?
Vera.
I need to know more about what...
Dane, did you not listen at all? I already told you everything. After leaving on the expedition, this fisherman supposedly brought him to the house, and then left to call me. But when I arrived here, my son was...
Anything else?
Clearly, something suspicious occurred inside the house.
Where's the house?
For Kay's sake, I thought you were a private eye. We're standing right in...
As much as I'm enjoying...
Find my...
Let's see what you find, newcomer.
It would take tremendous effort to move this thing, let alone tossing it over like this. It would take tremendous effort to move this thing, let alone tossing it over like this. Hello?
Oh, my head.
It's okay. I'm Charles Reed, Private Eye.
Oh,
I want to know what happened here. Every
I don't remember much. Me, Paul, then he came back carrying Throgmorton's son. He was unconscious. Barely breathing.
Then what?
We put the guy in Lewis's room. Then he started to...
That sounds familiar. Tell me about yourself.
Name's Will Hammond. I'm a fisherman. We all are. We moved here after the flood.
Where are all the other...
That's Paul there on the floor. Kay be with him. Barry's outside, and I have no idea where Lewis or Throgmorton's son got.
I'll leave you to...
Please, Detective, sir, tell me the truth.
I don't know yet, Will. Choo-choo. Ahem. Choo-choo. Ahem. I can barely recognize the face of the poor fella. He was beaten to a pulp. I can barely recognize the face of the poor fella. He was beaten to a pulp. Never seen knives like this before. Seems like Prohibition hasn't affected Oakmont too much.
Glenna, Nehri, Glenna, Gebhal, Nugulina, Haftin.
Never seen knives like this.
Take this, ape face.
What's happening?
Yeah, run!
Okay, let's see what we have here. Huh. This dog mat looks better than the owner's bed. The book is damp and damaged, but clearly well cared for.
What's happening?
Take this, ape face. Yeah, run!
When Albert Throgmorton woke up, he was not himself. He attacked the fishermen, and his hysteria spread to them. When he got wounded, he fled.
Ed, I still hear those voices.
There was a fierce fight here, but someone tried to flee. So the fisherman pursued Albert, even let off a few shots. Even though Albert was wounded, he managed to climb that high. Robert wasn't exaggerating when he said he raised him strong. There's something in the pocket. The blood is fresh. Whomever it belongs to could not have got far. The door won't budge. One fatal round through the forehead. That's no accident. This was deliberate.
Oh, yeah. Hey, got a spare bullet, fella? I ain't eaten in days.
Come close.
You're some kind of...
Yes, my dear.
Really?
Not so fast, newcomer.
All right, how much?
Your money has no value here, newcomer. And I'll make it easier for you.
Let's hear what my...
Good. The sea will be generous in the coming days.
I don't think I follow.
I see old and new. A hard heart against an iron will. Whoever wins, you win too. But you'll only see that from inside. And tall pillars, circled by the dead. A race from...
I think I'd...
It is what it is. That...
Why do I...
I'll miss the carpenter's food giveaway with this darn
Stay
port
alert!
closure.
Monsters lurk underground. They're everywhere.
Hey, knock it off! What the... Get the... Oh...
The door won't budge.
Welcome to Under the Keel.
I've seen some unsettling creatures around.
So you met a wild beast, newcomer. No one. They arrived in the flood. Some say they come from the... If it bleeds, you can kill it. Keep your gun handy. And if you want to erase the memory, remember, better to be a coward and live than brave and dead.
I'm looking for a man...
Yeah, even if I...
As it happens, I know you owe a debt to Mr. Flynn. Trouble is, I found your note near the dead body of Albert Throgmorton, son of Robert. So, it seems Lewis is in trouble. Might have even come here to hide. But you hand him over and he won't be back to collect what you owe. Get me?
Throck. That would explain the blood. Fine. If it gets me out of this mess, you can have him.
So?
He's upstairs. Here's the key. You gotta promise to deal with him, once and for all. But save the shooting for outside, huh?
Smart man. There's your good deed for the day. Bye.
Hey, who are you? What are you doing?
Charles Reed, private investigator. Mr. Throgmorton hired me to find his son Albert, so I think you know why I'm here.
Throg. That darn bartender. It was all that crazy ape's fault. You hear me?
Calm down. I only want to speak, for now. But no, if you reach for your gun, you'll hit the floor faster than you can say poetic justice.
I got nothing to hide.
You shot to kill. No warning, no second chances. You pursued Albert even after he fled. Why?
I can't remember it. When he woke, it was like a bloody mist descended over me. First thing I recall after is that darn warehouse and me covered in blood. I had no idea what happened, though. I suspected it had something to do with that ape.
Turns out, I was right.
Start at the beginning. What happened?
We were in our house, me, Paul, and Will. Barry'd gone to the sea. Though I told him that it would only bring bad luck. If he'd listened to me, we'd all still be alive.
Come on, Lewis. Focus.
Right. Well, Barry dragged that damn ape to our house. He was bragging about how much Mr. Throgmorton would give us for saving his son. But that ape, he was out cold. Then woke in an instant and started screaming, attacking us. After that, can't remember a thing.
I hear there's a bit of a feud between the Innsmouthers and the Throgmortons. Care to fill me in?
Those apes hated us from the moment we arrived in Oakmont. Our home was destroyed. We just needed a place to stay. The Blackwood Grand family sheltered us, but others were not as hospitable. We needed jobs, food, and medicine. The city denied it all.
And so?
We had to fight for every crumb of bread. And those Throgmortons in their high castle only made our life harder, always conspiring behind our backs, always setting people against us. I'd love to see them suffer like we suffered.
You mentioned a grand family. What do you mean?
So you're a newcomer, huh? Explains a lot.
Yeah, a newcomer with a gun. Answer the question.
Okay. People here are crazy about bloodlines and tradition and reputation. The head honchos of Oakmont are called the Grand Families. There's the Carpenters, who control most of the city's underworld, the Blackwoods, who share kin with Innsmouthers through the Marsh family.
And let me guess, the Throgmortons.
Right. Those filthy apes. Now that most of the Blackwoods are gone, there's nobody left to protect us Innsmouthers.
The things you did to Albert don't look like a bloody rage. A fatal shot to the head, a hidden body. One might start to wonder if it was deliberate.
I don't know what to say. I wasn't myself.
What kind of... why do you... your face, it's,
Oh, so you're here to attack me just because I look different to you? Want to spit on me, whisper to your friends? What's new?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to ask. I've just never met someone like you before. I didn't mean any offense.
Innsmouthers' bodies were blessed by the sea. You're gonna see a lot of us here, so you better get over it. We are proud of who we are.
I think I've got all I need.
Please, Mr. Reed, don't tell Throgmorton about me. I know I'm in no position to ask. I didn't want to do whatever it is I did. Honest, have mercy, please. I have a family. Without me, they'll starve.
This is not exactly cut and dry. I need some time to think.
Perhaps I can offer something to grease your grinds. I still have a few bullets on me.
You think you're the first person to offer me a bribe?
Please, Mr. Reed.
Now, don't try my patience further, Mr. Flynn.
You want a drink?
Don't do that again.
The port is closed by order of Robert Throgmorton. Back off.
Let's see what you find, newcomer.
My head! I still hear those voices.
I'm surprised they don't have someone's portrait here. Mr. Throgmorton, I've encountered...
What? I don't...
some unusual creatures.
You've seen a wild beast, Mr. Reed. I'm somewhat surprised. I've commissioned a few studies on them, but we know little more.
Yeah.
Try to avoid them.
Bye. Mr. Throgmorton, I'm afraid I have bad news.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I found your son in the basement of a nearby warehouse. I'm sorry, but he was murdered. Shot in the head and the body hidden.
No. It cannot be true. No, no, no. I don't believe it. No.
I've tracked down your son's murderer.
Where? Who is he?
I tracked the murderer down, but he was attacked by those things prowling the back alleys. They tore him apart. It was that Innsmouther fisherman, Lewis. He was covered in your son's blood. That may have attracted the beasts.
Are you certain the body is his?
Beyond any doubt. All that's left of him is a heap of flesh and this scrap of cloth. It's from his jacket. Just ask his friends.
Alas, this was my revenge to exact, not some wild beast's. Something must be done about those pests. Still, justice has been served. This isn't closure, but at least I know now the story. Thank you.
Mr. Throgmorton, I hate to press you, but do you think you could help me now?
Yes, you've earned it. Okay, to think a newcomer barely off the boat solves a crime the police couldn't, but I digress. Remind me, what brought you to Oakmont?
I'm looking into an outbreak of erratic behavior and madness, all linked to shared visions of this place.
Indeed. Then our goals align. This inexplicable hysteria has spread through Oakmont after the flood. I funded an expedition to explore recent geological activity that may be responsible.
A geological expedition? I'm not sure I follow.
I have reason to believe the flood and this madness have the same source. As above, so below. So I sent men to find out.
Do these cases of hysteria involve shared visions as well?
Since the flood, many Oakmonters have had similar nightmares. Indeed, Professor Doe, the expedition leader, complained of them herself.
Waterlogged ruins with unnatural architecture. A sleeping giant, drowned streets, and a voice calling from the depths.
Her words exactly. She proposed the expedition, desperately wanting to find the cause.
You mentioned the flood. You think it's more than just a natural disaster.
You weren't here, Mr. Reed. What happened defied scientific explanation.
Has your expedition found anything?
I do not know. Albert was part of it. His passing cannot be coincidence. Why was he alone at the port? And where are the others?
You think your son was killed because the expedition uncovered something?
Is it so hard to believe? I had no news for a week, then Albert, the only one I could trust, comes ashore and is killed.
It does sound suspicious.
Mr. Reed, I want you to find out what's going on. I expect you're as interested in the expedition's results as I am.
What about my expenses?
They will be reimbursed after you complete your task. And of course, I'll also include... The dollar lost its use here, Mr. Reed. After the flood.
If I'm going to...
I'll give you the address.
That's all you...
Let me be clear.
I'm sorry, Mr. Throgmorton. I just meant...
I am a busy man. When you've finished, come see me.
You want a drink?
The door won't budge. The door won't budge.